We're up to Yud Zayin Amid Beis. We're up to Yud Zayin Amid Beis. 3 lines from the bottom. Tani Mizrach Umayriv. Okay, Mutalach. Tani Mizrach Umayriv Hayinasunim Divrei Rebbe. In other words, we were speaking out yesterday, fellas, about Shulchanos. How the Shulchanos was situated. Let me bring up a picture here based because of the ease of the use of this wonderful machine. We'll bring up a picture. Here we go. Okay, so we saw yesterday this picture over here, right? So they were situated in the Heichel. There were 10 shulchanos, and the shulchanos they ran from east to west. So therefore, it was all in the northern hemisphere, right? And also, it's a little bit towards the western side. You see, this is the west. This is the east. So it's to the left, to the west a little bit. Now, and opposite that was the menorah, and in front of that was the Mizbeach Hazav, and that's exactly the dimensions where they were situated. So let's see the Gemara. Tani Mizrach Umayriv Hayinasunim Divrei Rebbe. They were situated what? Mizrach and Ma'ariv. They were situated Mizrach and Ma'ariv, and as a result, they were all in the northern part. They were all in the northern part. Rabbi Eliezer Rabbi Shimon, I met a lesson in the yeshiva. Rabbi Shimon said, "Safim v'darim hayinasunim." They were going across Safim v'darim. They were going to Safim v'darim. Mandiel and Mizrach and Ma'ariv Nicha Kula Roy and the Sheiros. They're all right to be used because they were all in the northern hemisphere. And Mizbeach, we said yes, and the Shulchan we said yesterday has to be in the north. Mandam at Safim v'darim Nimsa Shulchan v'darim. They were situated 5 in the darim and 5 in the Safim. 5 of them were not able to be used. The Gemara just it says that a statement doesn't seem to answer anything. Now, but Tanya Shulchan Hayanasan Chatzi Abayis Lefnim, the Shulchan was situated half of the house inside, Moshech Min HaKaisel, off the wall, Beis Amas Umechza 2.5 amas, Klape Hatzafain towards the north, Umenorah Kenegdoi, and the menorah was opposite Bedarim, as we just illustrated. Mizbeach Hasav Hayanasan Be'emsa was in the middle of Abayis. And mamish, you cut it in half. So I think let's see that again. The screen, right? Right, guys. Look, this is mamish at the point. It's very geschmack, right? Look, you see. Look at that picture. The top is the shulchan. It's in the north, towards the west. Exactly opposite is the menorah, towards the south, and in the middle, look right. The Mizbeach Hazav was situated. It was 40 amas. It was at the 20 amas part, which is it's the 50-yard line, right? You see, it's like the 50-yard line. Good, guys. Good.
Look at Avrami's food.
Stop looking at Avrami's food, guys. Good, right? It's at the 50, right? That's what it means over here. All of them are placed in the third of the bias inside, as we saw. Esem menorahs, they were 10 menorahs. Asa Shlomo. Shlomo made 10 menorahs. Shnemar, vayasas menorahs hazav eser kimishpatay. Vayitem behechel Hashem behechel hey miyamin v'hey mismol. 5 to the right and 5 to the left. Ain't tema hey b'tzaf. The same Gemara that we had by the shulchan, we'll have by the menorah. Ain't tema. If you're going to say 5 are going to be in the darim and 5 are going to be in the safain, the menorah is only kasha in the south. To the south side. And 5. So that would be, again, just the same illustration, right? It would be over here on the bottom. 5 this way and 5 that way. That's the way it would look. 5 this way and 5 that way, because then it's all in the southern hemisphere, which would allow you for sheirus, meaning servitude, allowed it to be used. Ava Pikain, So Elohim min menorah shel Moshe, 5 were on the side of Moshe's menorah, and 5 were on the side of the left of Moshe's menorah. The Hem is smolo. And Alpha Pikain, like Hoya Mavir, they didn't ignite, they didn't light Ela shel Moshe. They only ignited Moshe's Bilvad. They only ignited Moshe Shnemar menorahs hazov v'nei roseha levar be'erev. One mashma, one menorah, and the menorahs is mashma one. Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, Omer al Kula. No, they lied on all of them. Now, again, Rashi seems to say in Chumash that not in Chumash. Rashi seems to say in Masechta Yuma that they lit from sometimes this one, sometimes this one. We're going to see a Meshech Chochmah in a minute that said they lit all of them. It's mukhra from here. They lit all of them. Okay. Akun hayimav shnema v'samenoros v'neresel levarom kimishpat lefnei advir. Menoros is lashon rabim. V'nerosehem is lashon rabim. Levarom is lashon rabim. Kimishpat lefnei advir. Zav saga, they were made of pure gold. V'perach v'neros and mokachayim zavu. Mekale zav, they were what? They were totally refined. What does it mean? Totally refined. So kili zav shall. They went ahead and they used up all the zav of Moshe, all the zav they used up to make the menorah. Tani Rabbi Yehuda b'shem Masi hayishlami noitel elef kikrei zahav. He took elef kikarim. That's each one is 120 mana. It's a massive amount of gold. Umachlis and lakur, he put it in a kiln. Umaytzian atshuhu ma'amidem alecha el echad. And he kept on purifying it more and more and more until it stayed on one kikar. So it took elef kikarim to make one pure kikar of zav, to refine it. Mashenema kika zav tar aslai side. That's what it means. Kika zav tar, pure gold. It's been refined to that point. Tanya Yosef Yehuda Ma'aseh b'menorah zav shasa Moshe b'midbar. Vaysa Yisera Dina zahav. It was they went ahead. Yachnisa lakur shmoinim pamim v'chasa klum. It was more than a dinar, guys. It was a dinar more than a kikar. Good, and you want to make it exactly a kikar. They put it 80 times in the kiln, and it still remained as it was. So how do you explain the discrepancy by Shlomo getting from 1,000 to 1, and over here you couldn't diminish it at all, right? How do you explain that discrepancy? So in that Gemara says, "You're asking a kasha." Adalay yakum al bararei, until it was refined. You can go ahead and be missing plenty. 1,000 kikarim of unrefined gold, if you keep on putting in the kiln, will get refined to 1. But but one that's already been refined, like Moshe's, there's nothing more to do. So therefore, it didn't diminish at all. Okay, so what's this inyan of the Shulchan and Menorahs? What's this inyan of Shlomo putting more? What is this comment? What was the point behind it? So I found this Meshech Chochmah in Parshas Tetzaveh. Let me get it up on the screen. Not this one. What? Yes. Steve, we got to get like a project. No, there's not enough people here to project. But you can look on this. Yeah. Okay, look, I could read it to you. So, okay, it says v'yichu atat etzaves bnei Yisrael v'yichu elecha shemin zayich zach kasas lamaor. The Meshech Chochmah is telling on the word v'yichu elecha. Right? What does it mean? You want to move that out of the way? So yeah. So v'yichu elecha. They should take for you. Who are they taking for? Who's elecha? They just put it. Oh. Who's the elecha? So says Rabbi Simcha, Yitachin al pi dirish harav the Ibn Ezra, the Parshas Baloisra, she'af al pi she'amru kol dibresh shenidbu hakadosh baruch hu Moshe lahoyel b'yoyim. Most of the Nevi'im when mitzvah at night, they had their nevu at night. Only the great Moshe was during the day. And it was always, at his beck and call, really. So it was during the day. Shenema bayom dibar shema Moshe. The chol zeh says the Ibn Ezra kishoya neiros dolkim hoya kiyoim v'diva imoy balayla. When the light of the menorah was lit, then and only then it was like night. So that v'yichu elecha. Moshe, who are you taking it for? For you, because you need it. Because if you want me to speak to you at night, you're going to need a light. Because you don't have nevuah at night otherwise. Because what does the light do? Pirish litzarchecha. Lezeh amar v'yichwe lecha. Pirish litzarchecha. For you, Moshe. Sha'adam daitoi bohir be'esa'ar. A person's mind is clear when it's light. Ukimo ein oira ela simcha. Like there's no or except simcha. Moshe needed the light to be besimcha to get the nevuah. That it should be shayr b'teich simcha. In order for Moshe to be besimcha and get the nevuah, there had to be light. So you're taking it taka for you, Moshe. You're taking it for you. As it goes on, it says later on, it should be lit all the time. That it's lit during the day, right? It's lit. It was lit. Like the Rabbi never went out. It was lit all the time. Because Hashem doesn't need the light. You are the light. You lit the way for us for 40 years in the midbar. You need the light. You don't need the light. That's a chayk. It's a famous medrash. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ata Irish Shalaylam. You are the Ur of the world. 40 years in the midbar, you lit the way for us, and you need the light. So mashal, what's the mashal about a blind person, right? A blind person who's led for 40 years, and then he comes to the house, he doesn't need anymore. And he says, a light. And when he goes light, he goes, Asakar Satoiv. Well, you led me, now a light for you. That's the famous medrash. So it's a chayk. You don't need a Kadosh Baruch Hu doesn't need the light. I don't need it. He brings the medrash. There's a halacha that person does not convene at night. But if it's or is daluk, they could convene at night. Why? Because or can make it kayoim, because it can make you besimcha. That Shlomo made, he brings chamesh menorahs. That Shlomo made chamesh menorahs. Rabbi Eliezer ben Shmuel Omar, the Perek Shtei Lechem, the al kulam hoye mesadrim, the Shtei Lechem, they made them on the menorahs. They lit them all with a kulam heid madlikin, and they lit all of them. Not like Rashi who said sometimes this and sometimes this. No, they lit on all of them. Why they light on all of them? To create tremendous light, so that there should be simcha, and as a result of the simcha, you should have go ahead. So why the shulchan? He said to be consistent, conform. Where simcha continues. I ran out of room. So in other words, it's not that pshat. You had the menorah 10 menorahs because you had 10 shulchanas. You had 2 shulchanas because you had 10 menorahs. It should be sequentially okay. That's what the Meshech Chachma says, and that would explain. Now the question is, how could Shlomo add to it? That's a different question. I will get you back on you. I have a makar for that. How could Shlomo possibly add to the amount of kalim that is supposed to be? But later in Meir Simcha, it would explain why that was.
Wasn't the menorah so difficult for Moshe to make it, right?
Yeah.
So
I guess once they had it, they had it. Yeah, once they had it. It's like a good tarif, Havdil. Once it's in there, it's in the world.
I had a regular Navi had to have light at night.
He had to be with Simcha. There's sometimes nevuah at night. Let's say a Navi could have nevuah during the day, but I'm saying only Moshe did not have a night. Sometimes during nevuah, Moshe had, I've only been had nevuah during the day. At night, usually, let's say in a dream, a chaloim, or something like that. Moshe had it during the day. Dibru, Hashem spoke to Moshe during the day. Dibru, there's different levels of nevuah. Okay, so very geschmack. That would explain at least why all of a sudden, so many menorahs, right? And the shulchan zagav of the menorah. Okay, shloisha. Now again, according to we're dealing with the shofars. Shloisha asa shefaros hayim b'migdash. There were 13 pushkas. We said this earlier. We're going to go ahead and explain the 13 pushkas that were in the Mikdash. The Kosav Aleim, here they are, guys. They wrote on them, Tiklin Chadatin. Now, remember, I told you in Aramaic, the tuf often is a replacement for a shin, right? So look at the word. Tiklin would be shkolin, and Chadatin would be chadoshin, right? That's right away. You if you make that switch, it illuminates the word, right? It becomes shekel chadash. It becomes shkolim chadashim. Good. The tiklin atikin and old ones. They will explain what each one was. Now, kinin. There was one that said kinin or kanin, the nest, And the other one said Goizle Oila. Other one said Goizle Oila. So we're going to see a machlokes. These are both for the birds. We're going to see exactly what the birds were. We're going to see what exactly the birds were over here. Eitzim, one for Eitzim, Levaina, one that said Levaina, Zahav Lechpires, not Lekapires, Lechpires. It's for Klishares. It's Zahav Klishares. Shisha, and that's 7, and Shisha Linadava. And 6 were for Nidava. We spoke out many times, right? In other words, when there's a mitzvah to always keep the mizbeach busy. So you had money there to buy karbonos, oilos when it's slow. When the mizbeach was slow, we have in those came if you had money from a chata, some money from an asham, any most money that was left over fell into these 6 pushkas. And the Gemara,
Lays, what did we say before with the Aleph, Beis, and Gimel in the previous Mishnah? What were those for?
you're talking about the chesamais. You're talking about the tickets. You're mixing
those
up.
were the tickets.
Weren't
Weren't the chests marked also? Weren't the chests marked also in Greek lettering or Hebrew lettering? Didn't we say that?
I think you might be mistaken. The chesamais.
There were the chesamas that were marked like that. Okay, I thought it was the chest.
No, the chest of the tomb was halishka, but that had nothing to do with these shofars.
Okay, all right.
No, we said one said egel. It was written in Aramaic, right?
Right.
Yeah, but that was for kabbanis.
But alpha, beta, gamma was in the Trumas Halishka, three chests.
Okay. Thank you.
That's the machzah shekel from year to year. Now, there's a machlokes fellas over here. What does that mean? On Adar, they went out, they collected the monies, and they what? Then put the monies in the shofar. Then they would take from the shofar and put it in the lishka. Or no, monies collected during Adar were put in the lishka, and this would be the shofars would be for the money that would come in during the rest of the year. Again, it would come in during the rest of the year, and you could use that money. They would put them in their shofars. But that's what it was for. That shofar. Vatikin, and what is the tiklin atikin? It's mishloi hevi ishtakid. Someone who didn't bring last year, shoikel l'shana would go ahead and bring it this year. You bring it this year for the past, and that was called shiarei halishka, and that was used for infrastructure, various things we saw previously. Kinin, the one that said kinin, hain tyrin, those are the birds called tyrin, and the next chest that was called Beislei Oila, Hain B'nei Yona. Those are the birds that are B'nei Yona. And Kula and Oilais, they were all Oilais. They were Reb Yehuda. Okay, so I have 2 chests, guys. Let's from the Momashita. Rabbi Chacham say no. Kinim is Echad Chatas V'Echad Oila. Goislei are Oila. Goislei Oila, Kula and Oilais. Okay. Guys, look at me. 2 chests. One said Kinim, and one said Goislei Oila. Says Rabbi Yehuda, any money that went in there was used to purchase a carbon oila, not a chatas. Because, in fact, there are women who bring birds, men bring birds, a zava, yoledes, they bring birds. One of the birds is a chatas, and one of the birds is an oila. Good? Says Rabbi Yehuda, we can't have, and we'll see why in the Gemara, we can't have a bird of a chatas, money that's is for a chatas in this pushka. We can't have it. So therefore, all money that goes in the pushka is for an oila. If that's the case, why do I need 2? What's the distinction? So for that, he says 2 types of birds. Some would be used for a tar bird, which is an older bird, and one would be used for a b'nei yona, a younger bird. Tar and b'nei yona are the 2 birds that were used for the mizbeach. So says Rabbi Yehuda, both pushkis, oilais. Difference between the pushkis, kanim, tar, goislei oila, b'nei yona. Says the Chum, no. There's 2. Kanim, that was used for both chatas and oila. If a woman was a yoledes, she went, put money in the pushka, went home, she could eat kachim, she brought a kapara. So in there was a chatas. The other one, goislei oila, tackle 2 for oilais. But the kanim one, in fact, had a chatas in there. So that's the big discrepancy between the two, whether the kanim had an oil chatas in or just oilers. Says Rabbi Yehuda, only oilers? Says the chachamim, no, I feel chatas. The money can be used for chatas. And we'll see a tremendous nafkamin in Allah in the Gemara. What?
One goes up, one goes down.
Again, that's the actual cover itself. Ha'omer harei olai eitzim. Someone says it's upon me to bring eitzim, right? Lo yivchois mishnei gizarim. Should not give less than 2 gizarim. So the money that's put in that pushka for eitzim was used to bring 2 logs of wood. Levaina, but we had a chest that said levaina, a pushka that said levaina. Lo yivchois mikaimitz. You should not give less than a kaimitz, right? A kaimitz is anything that you fit between these fingers. A kaimitz of frankincense. Zahav, someone said he's going to give a pushka of zahav. La yivchas mitina zahav. Shouldn't give less than a dina zahav. It's a very valuable coin. The coin is a 25 dinari kesef. It's a very valuable coin. So if you say harei olai zahav, according to Pashup Shad over here, if you just said zahav, you have to bring what? A coin. We'll see a difference in the Gemara. Now, those are the first 7. Shishal and the dava mahaya oisenba. What was that? Saloikin ba oilis abasa l'shem uba oiris l'kanim. It was the dava, those pushkas. The meat would go to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, would be burnt like every oila, and the leather and the skins would go to the kahanim. Zeh medrash darish Yehuda Yehoyada kohen gadol. Asham hu asham asham laHashem. So the beginning of the pasuk says asham hu. It's an asham. Stam and Hashem, guys, goes to a kohen. Then at the end it says Hashem Hashem. How do you reconcile the two? Klal. Kol shu mishum chatas mishum ashma. Any oila that's poured as a chatas Hashem, yilachik bem oilas. In other words, any animal that you have leftover money for a chatas, or any animal you have leftover money for an asham, then what do? Have extra money, it becomes an oila, and that goes what? Habasal Hashem baris the kahanim. You find Hashem Hashem, Hashem the Kohen. So Amar, another pasuk, Kesef Hashem and Kesef Chatas, Yuva Beis Hashem Lekahanim Yiyu, the Kesef Hashem, Kesef Chatas should not be Beis Hashem, Lekahanim Yiyu. We'll see what that means in the Gemara. Okay, so now we have the machlokes between Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim regarding the pushka called Kanim, right? Like Rabbi Yehuda, it's both. Like Rabbi Yehuda, guys, it's both oilers. Like the Chachamim, one's a chatas and one's an oiler. Tanya Rabbi Yehuda, like hoy shayfa shel kinam b'Yerushalayim. There wasn't a shayfa of kinam b'Yerushalayim. In other words, there was no shayfa that was used exclusively for kinei chayva. Again, what's kinei chayva? Those are nests that for a chayv, ledes, sov, meaning it's a chatas. You got to bring it, guys. In Kachim Loshen, Choiv versus Nedava. Nedava, get by Nedava, right? And Neduva, they say, right? Make a donation. And then there's a Choiv, you have to bring it. A Chatas is a Choiv, an Asham is a Choiv. And the Nedava is not. There was no Lehoya Shoifa Shel Kin B'Yerushalayim. That's Rabbi Yehuda sheet in the Mishnah. None of those Shoifas were for a Chatas. Mifnei Taruvis, because of the Taruvis. Shema Thomas Achas. Guys, what do we know? Chatas shemesa ba'aleha. The animal dies. Someone goes along, goes to the pushka, puts in the money, subsequently dies. You're up the creek. What do you have? A shayfa with money in it. That is a chatas shemesa. Yeah, the chatas shemesa, and what are you going to do with it? You're going to lose all of it. So therefore, no such animal existed. Nothing. Only that's Rabbi Yehuda Shita. We're worried that maybe what you're going to die. Good. So I'm saying so they would you'd go ahead. You bring birds up. You bring birds. You bring young birds. You bring young birds. Freding Marakasha Vatanya Haisha Shamra Hare Laikan. A woman that says it's upon me to bring a kan, mevia. Now, this doesn't mean an adava, guys. Usually a lie means an adava. It doesn't mean an adava over here. It means I have to bring it. So it's a chiyuv. So one of them is what is a chatas. Hare leg kan mevia de me kan. She bring the worth of a kan. v'nasnu b'shayfer, and she put in the shayfer by chelis b'kachim, and she eat kachim, meaning she's now not mechusik kippurim. She bought a kapara. Ve'enu chayshes, and we're not suspicious shemanas atzel behen that the kohen will be lazy in bringing it, and therefore she won't be able to catch him. Ain't a kohen chayshes, and the kohen is not chayshes. Shemed demeyachatos meismeuzen. We're not worried about her dying. So now, what's the kasha? Rabbi Yehuda's a Tana. He can argue on this. So why is he not arguing over here? Why does he seem to accept this? Right? He seems to go ahead and accept it over here. And for the Gemara, ki karminan b'chatos shemesa ba'aleim vaday, when we know he dies. Oh. Good. So that's the teretz. We don't mean that maybe they're going to die. We know for sure they died. Guys, Harry comes and he's being a carbon. Harriet. She throws her money in. Harriet dies. What are you going to do? So it doesn't mean maybe she's going to die. Maybe I'm not chayish for. But we're worried about when we know for sure she died. Good. So the Velt's kasha is, why don't we say Bittul B'Roiv? Why don't you say Bittul B'Roiv over here? Let's go through it. We know this is in a Bittul, right? Usually Bittul B'Shisha. Most in time is Bittul B'Shisha. Good. So you also know that, well, some of you know that if you have a chatas that gets mixed in with a bunch of animals, why they all die? Because it's a what? It's a barrier. It's a live thing, right? You can't be mavatal it. Something that's alive, you can't be mavatal. If the cat falls in the challenge, you got tzaras. Can't marry that cat fight. It was a famous mice.
He was chasing the rat.
Yeah. So a barrier, you can't be bottle, guys. As long as it's intact, it can be bottle. So if I have a live animal in there, and one of them is alive, and it's a chatas that the owner died, I understand from Hilchas Taruvis it can't be bottle. Good. What do you have over? You have money. Good. So money. Okay. So I saw Rav Chaim brings down two terutzim. Okay, one teretz, a beautiful teretz. Who is this the kasha according to? Who's worried about this? Rabbi Yehuda, right? Rabbi Yehuda holds min b'mina loy batal. Rabbi Yehuda's shita in Shas is min b'mina loy batal. Rabbi Yehuda holds that, for example, on by Yom Kippur, you could take the dam of a goat and the dam of the seir and mix them together. It's batal. He goes, no, min b'mina loy batal. So they stay separate. So who would then over here? It can't be batal. That's Rabbi Yehuda's shita. L'shitasa, because only kasha for him. A second teretz that even according to everybody, a dove sheba minyan, something that's chashiv that you count, is not batal. So over here, money is dove chashiv, won't be batal. So two terutzim why it's a good kasha. A very geshmak. Okay, so anyway, now let's guys, what do you do is now take the following. Why don't you go ahead, take the money, take like whatever it is. She gave 4 dinarim. Take 4 dinarim out of the pile, throw it out, and say that's the chatas. Right? So say beira. I don't know how much. I don't know if it's such a breira dikadin anyway. But again, if l'chayr you could say breira, as it says the Gemara, say the Gemara kasha.
How could you do that? Because isn't Ola greater than the chatas? I mean, it's kulal Hashem. So how could you take monies that was designated for an Ola, which is Kul Hashem, and say, "Here's I'm taking it for a Chatas"? It was mixed up already.
Hesh, there is in this pile, there's Chatas and there's Oila. Both, not just Oila. So
Right,
if you're
okay.
worried about the money to buy the Chatas, take the money out and say, look, that money was going to buy the Chatas and Fartik.
All
Why
right.
don't you do that? In other words, and let Rabbi Yehuda set up a shayfer. That's the kasha. It says v'i amina nivra arba zuzei unishadi binahara v'idach lishterei. Go ahead. I don't know if you go in a nivra, but if you are, you could say that means breira, right? V'i amina nivra arba zuzei unishadi binahara v'idach lishterei. And for the Gemara, Harmina Ba'alma Rabbi Yehuda less they breira. And the sugya breira in Gittin, Rabbi Yehuda is the one who says we don't say breira, right? You can separate the truma from the noid. Okay, very, very geshmak. So therefore, Rabbi Yehuda, let's go back. So Rabbi Yehuda said there were 2 shayfris, and one was for Tayrim and one was for the Yoina, but they were all oilais. Why? Because the chatas is a problem. Why? What's the problem? If the owner dies. If the owner dies. If you see by Rebbe Bun Omar Rebbe Bar Mamel Boy Omar Hareolai Eitz. A person is misnad of eitz. Now, guys, there's a sugya in Menachis. You can bring a carbon eitzim. You hear this? You remember you make kmitza with sawdust? I tell you, you put levine on it, you put salt on it. There's a carbon eitzim. There's a carbon eitzim. So if a person says on himself, "Hareolai eitz," doesn't mean I am an eitz. It doesn't mean you're shtickholz. It means that you go ahead and you're bringing carbon eitzim. Maybe gizer echad. Gizer means not a gizer. It means a one log. You're being a log. Amar Reb Lazar Masnisan Amar Kain Shezeh Karbim V'Yatzmai V'Zeh Karbim V'Yatzmai. And guys, when you need two kahanim to bring up Shnei Gizer Yitzim, right? Obviously, two separate entities, right? You're bringing two kahanim, one from one and from the other. Kahidit Hanin Taman Shnayim. You know, it's telling you how many kahanim are involved in the process of bringing the carbon in the morning. So you have two kahanim, and each one had shnei gizur yitzim. You see each one's a chalein, right? Carbon. The pasuk says the nefesh ki sacrif carbon mincha la Hashem, and it says the word carbon is extra. It could have said nefesh ki sacrif mincha la Hashem, and it says the word carbon is extra. The Rabbi says eitzim. It means to be marba carbon called a carbon eitzim, right? That it's also called a carbon. Rabbi Shua ben Levi Omar. These shnei gezirim, there's a share to them. Oivin is ama, ba'ama shechekas, va'orchem ba'ama geduma. So I thought, just for a joke, you know, my corrupt sense of humor, I thought I bring you back an oldie but goodie. If I can find it, where is it? It's got to be.
I have it on my phone somehow.
No, it's got to be. It's got to. What?
Someone sent it to me.
Yeah, I sent it to you.
No.
Okay, let me make this smaller. Okay, boys, you can see this?
Nothing yet.
Huh? Can't
They'll
see
be
it
coming
yet?
around the mountain.
Can you see it now?
Nothing yet.
Can't see it now?
You didn't share it.
I think I didn't share it.
Define it.
Huh?
Define it.
Okay. That is it.
Ah,
Now we got it.
Now you remember our friend? Okay, let's get it one step smaller. There you go. This is yeah. Even Chaim's standing up for this one. There are 6 tfachim in an amma. There are 4 etzbois in a tefach. So the etzbois can either be separate, you see, like these 4 fingers separate. That's called shaychik, or they can be a tefach otsev. They can be otsev. They can be seared. They're seared because they get fetched together, right? So this is larger than this. This is larger than this. This is the first daf in the Sechta Eruvin. The first daf. I thought I'd bring back an oldie but goodie. Right? Okay, so that was a early daf from the Sechta Eruvin. The difference between one that is shaychik and one that is geduma. And this is called otsev. It's called geduma.
You gotta bring back the hobo. We have to bring back the hobo.
To bring back the hobo, right? For sure. That definitely. Right, sitting in the middle, right? What was that? What was that halacha? Remember, what's the halacha? The hobo. What was he teaching us? What halacha was he teaching us?
Yeah, you could rest in Rosh Hashanah.
No, come on, tell me no.
You can't. If you put it down, you can't take it to the next rishus.
But what's that called where he's sitting?
Welcome tour.
Thank you. Good get. You got it. Right, welcome to Torah. That's a welcome to Torah, huh? Yeah, that's a welcome to Torah. Baruch Hashem. Anyway, so we have this log at the two gezirim. You made it. You're going to bring a carbon eitzim. What exactly is the shear? So oivin, its width is amma, and it's an amma, but amma shechakas, when the tefach has been defined by the fingers spread apart. However, the orchan, the length will be ba'ama geduma. That will be based upon the gefetched amma. He disagrees. He says no. You could even bring like the stick of a scale, which a scale going across the top, the fulcrum goes. The old scales of those days. Since on Moshe's Mizbeach, it was 5 by 5, right? It was 5 by 5. I didn't draw a picture, guys, but picture this. You have a square that's 5 by 5. You have each one of the chronos taking up an amma. So on each side, you just cut away. You're left with 3 ammas. Each side is an amma. And now you have the place where the Kahanim walk, that you took away 2 more ammas. That left you out with 1 amma, so to walk around. So therefore, the maracha, we'd want it to be as small as possible, the length, not to extend and impede where the Kahanim could walk. So therefore, it was by an amma geduma rather than an amma that is broad, bright, as they say. For Tani Kain amma yisaid, so too is nam yisaid, amma saiviv, amma karkan, amma karna, amma maracha. Okay. Levoina leyivchas mikaimitz. Again, that we also had in Masech the Erevin. We had going up, going down. It was each one going in was 5 by 5, up going 6. Now, Levina leyuchas mikaimitz. Levina should not diminish less than a kaimitz. Nemar kan askara. It says by the lechem aponim. It says askara. The nemar lahalam by the minchas chayta. It says askara. My askara lahalam by the minchas chayta. Mali kaimitz. It's a mali kaimitz. Afaskara amakan is mali kaimitz. So to levina is mali kaimitz. In other words, if you say harei alai levona, the only paradigm we have in the Mishkan is the burning of the levina by the lechem aponim. How much was the lechem aponim? That we're learning from the minchas chayta. The minchas chayta, the levina was a kaimitz, guys. So once I establish that minchas chayta was a kaimitz, I can apply it to lechem aponim. Then I could take the lechem aponim and apply it to a stam and a dava of what? Of a levina. You'll ask a question. There were 2 frankincense, 2 pots there. So too, the nedavit should be 2 kaimsim. Some Rav Eloi, klum lamdu lekaimitz el minchas chayta, malahalan kaimitz chasa apostle, afkan kaimitz chasa apostle. But you don't need 2 kaimsim. In other words, that we say by there were 2 kaimsim by the lechem aponim, it doesn't mean the share was 2. It wasn't 2. It was 1 2 times. 1 for 1 loaf for 6, and 1 for the other loaf for 6. Each one was distinctly separate. It wasn't 2 going on all 12. It was 1 going on that and 1 going on that. And therefore, if you'd have 2, you can't have 2 in your hand. Pashit. Afkan chametz chos apostle. Amar Rav Yossi Milsa de Rabbi Eloi Amar Hemismad Levoina maybe kumse shel kain. Now, which kain? Kain gadol. Now, kain gadol means here a large kain, like a person with big hands. Some people have like very, very big hands. They're able to dunk basketballs because they have big hands, right? But Rabbi Chizkiah b'shem Rabbi Yirmiyah v'afilu b'kaimitz shel bailam. No, you don't go after big hands. You go after whoever made it, his kaimitz. In other words, the Gemara is saying kasha, guys. Kaimitz is always good. Look at me, guys. This is a kaimitz. My kaimitz is going to be different than a short guy's kaimitz or a very tall guy's kaimitz. In other words, so says the Gemara wants to suggest when you say a kaimitz, go after a very large kain. Says, well, no, goes after the Baal, whatever the Baal is, his size, normal size. So, if you make a nadav of zahav, we say you shouldn't get less than a dinar. So, Amar Rabbi Elazar, we're going to qualify that nadava. That's only they said, I'm giving a matbeya of zahav. In other words, you didn't say I'm giving gold, I'm donating a golden coin. If you say golden coin, it's a dinar zahav. You just say I'm giving gold. You don't say afilu sinura, which is a little fork they used to spin the golden threads on, which is much smaller and much cheaper than a coin. Then you'll be yotzi a mitzvah with that sinura. and we'll stop over here. Same thing tomorrow.